Hey, Joy Hits Taylor. This is week 2, the video for the second week of Joy Life Unlimited Adventure course. And the focus of this week is your history. So sometimes people have the idea that it's, no good to worry about the past, that you just kind of need to move forward and forget it. Yet I see benefit in some balance there. Excuse me. I see the value in looking back at what has happened and why and how it affects our daily lives, because the way that we operate, the way that we do things and think and everything in our life, it is a compilation of everything that has happened up to that point. So when you look at your history, you can see, oh, well, that's why I am afraid to do this, or that's why I respond in that way. It's because this is what had happened before, and it just it conditioned my brain to respond that way. So there's value in looking back at your history, and then it also enables you to figure out, how do you kind of rewrite that. The brain is an amazing thing, and you can make new courses. You can make a new way of thinking and of feeling, and of ultimately just having a different of way of seeing yourself, of believing in you and what you can do. So, and that makes all the difference in the world. So I often use the metaphor of just that old hall closet that just has, all the junk that doesn't have another place. You just kind of throw it in there and shut the door, and most of the time you might not really think about it that much. It's just kind of in there in the dark. And then inevitably you open that door though, and things just kind of tumble out, and it makes a mess, and you just have to shove it all back in. Well, likewise, you can pull out some of the things that have happened in your past and look at it, just kind of unpack it and lay it all out on the floor, and identify, what happened to me, acknowledge that this, is real, and what are the feelings that I had at the time. Like, let's say something happened to you when you were 8, and acknowledge, what was it that I felt as 8-year-old me, and also what do I feel as adult me looking back on that 8-year-old me, and from this perspective, what and how did it affect me. And if you know another 8-year-old kid, a niece or nephew, or your own child, or someone at work, or whatever it is, try and picture an 8-year-old kid now going through what you did, and see if it causes some different feelings, even, because a lot of times it's just different. It's different when you go through it as an 8-year-old and when you look at it as an adult later on. So this is all just part of the processing work of what happened to you. Identify what it was, what you felt, what you feel now. Is it the same? Are there different or additional feelings? What would you tell yourself? What would you tell someone who is going through that now, or has gone through it recently? Sometimes, we can be our just absolute worst critic. And if a friend of ours, or if a family member or a child of ours was to go through something similar, we would have so much grace and patience and, great things to say to them and for them. And yet we tend to be so harsh on ourselves and just so judgmental. And so think about if it was another person, and that can give you some insight into, how you might need to be more gentle with you and forgive you, and to acknowledge. Part of this is just acknowledging that the crap happened and it changed you. And now you can choose to say, okay, it changed me, and this sucks, and I am going to choose to grow from it and learn from it and move forward and allow it to just be something that's a part of my strength. So in all of this, I really encourage you to write some of this stuff down in answering some of the questions that I pose in the emails and through these videos. There is just something very profound about writing. It makes this connection between your right and left brain versus just thinking about it, and we don't always think in full sentences. And then as you're writing, you're using that kinesthetic part of you, and it also can be really cool to look back on. maybe a month, a year, whatever from now, you can look back on what you had written about yourself, what you were thinking, what you were doing, what your goals are, that sort of thing. So I really encourage you to write it down. You can type it up, even on your phone. Sometimes I know people really use that a lot, or your computer. There's something that is just that much better when you handwrite. So a part of our history, a couple of the things that a lot of people have struggled with that I see as limiting our lives, this Joy Life Unlimited is all about trying to deal with the limits that keep you from living the life that you were created to live. The limits that keep you from really believing in you and your beauty and power and ability, and the fact that you have a gift that is valuable and worthy and needs to be shared with the world. So a couple of things are depression and anxiety. So many people struggle with depression and anxiety. And I was reading this really sad statistic the other day about how, the majority of our time we are worrying about something that hasn't happened. We are either thinking back and analyzing and just kind of, mulling over stuff that happened in the past, or we are concerned about something that hasn't happened yet in our future, but we're afraid that it will happen. And we're spending so little time. I think the statistic was about 90% of the time we are concerned about and worried about what hasn't even happened, and is not happening now. So, this is where I think that just getting a reminder to think now and be in the present and appreciate the present is powerful. So choose to stop those thoughts in their tracks, and it's all of this is a part of mindfulness too. Mindfulness is just being present, seeing what you see around you, feeling what you feel around you, hearing, tasting, everything that's just happening right now. Be really, really present, and be thankful for all of these things, and thankful even for the negative stuff, because it means that maybe you need to go in a different direction, or that just isn't the best thing for you, or you needed to learn and grow and get stronger in that area, preparing you for whatever is next. I wrote a book a few months ago, and it was following a talk that I gave. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and so I gave a talk about there was a community near us who had lost a few of their youth to suicide last year, and I spoke to a group of moms. They were just asking, what can we do for our kids who've lost friends? What can we do for our kids who, how do we know if they're depressed, or if we do know that they seem depressed, they're showing symptoms, what can we do? They just wanted some support. So I did this talk, and as I'm preparing this enormous PowerPoint, going through all kinds of information and tools and everything, I just decided, I'm going to make this into a book, because it's so close to that anyway. I just had gobs of information. So that is what I did. I gave my talk, and then I expanded it a bit. And the book is available in ebook form and in print. It's on Amazon. If you just look up Joy Hits Taylor, then it will come up. Or the title is What Now? Anxiety, Depression, and Grief. There's tools for adults and kids, and it's a concise guide. I actually flip-flopped that part of the title, but it's a concise guide. It's not very long, it's easily digestible, and it has lots of bullet point tips and tools, and and it's priced affordably. I want to help. I wanted to give this tool. I often give it to clients that I see in my office, and in my emails I do also give you some different things, tools and techniques to do too, around the, depression and anxiety. But I just wanted to share that resource with you too. So, and that's, I don't know, I guess there still sometimes comes into my mind this, I never would have guessed that I would write a book and all of that this last year. And yet it has just been a part of all of this growth and all of this development, and becoming more confident in me and believing that I have something to give the world, that I have gifts that the world needs, and that I really, really can help. And it has been it's been humbling, it's been rewarding, and it's it's just been a wild ride, because I just never imagined that I'd be doing this year what I'm doing. So just trying to think if there was anything else on history. That's what this week is all about. Please respond with questions, respond with emails, or comment in the Facebook group. And I want interaction here. I think that we can help each other. If you have a question, it's likely that someone else has that question too. So don't be shy. Please ask, and I will do my best to answer. And if it's, as long as it's appropriate, I will answer in a video that I send to everybody, or in an email. And if it needs to be just back to you as an individual, then I can do that too. I want this to be helpful. I want this to just be a really growing, learning experience for each and every one of you. I really hope and pray for you a massive, massive amount of unlimiting for your life, because you are worth it. You are an awesome individual that does have gifts, maybe not realized yet, but you do have gifts that you need to give out to those around you, give to the world. All right, I will see you on the next video. Have a great week.